Hi and welcome. I'm Tammy Whitten, a licensed marriage and family therapist at WomenManagingStress.com. And today I'd like to welcome you for the introduction to a seminar series that I'm sharing called The Power of Positive Parenting. Now, as a woman who works with other women and couples and families who have stress, parenting is one of the biggest stressors that we have. We all joke that kids never come home from the hospital with a parenting manual. However, there's all kinds of books out there and opinions on the subject. So what we're going to do is take some of the tried and true things that work. Yes, they do. And we're going to bring them to you so you can try them out in your home and in your family. And I hope that you'll tell me how it's going. Because I know you're busy, what we're going to do is take this series and I'm going to break it down into bite-sized chunks that you can watch right when you need them. Whether the kids are in bed asleep or you've gotten up before everybody, or maybe you're on a break at work. So let's get started. What I'm going to do is share some of the slides with you so you don't have to stare at me the entire time. So, just what is the power of positive parenting? Well, one thing I want to share with you is that it's okay to be a little reluctant about just what is this stuff. Sometimes we read about parenting approaches and we think, gee, that won't work for me. That's in a book. Have people met my kids? Do they even know how they really act in public? So during this series, we're going to go through some of the things that are the realities. And I want you to be real with yourself about just what comes to mind when I bring up some of these topics. Before we head into some of the details, I will give a disclaimer. This is the same stuff that I learned accumulating my child development degrees and how we work with families in therapy. This is the stuff that I use with families when they come in and say, we've tried everything, but we just can't make things happen. When I first heard some of this stuff, I honestly rolled my eyes and thought it can't be that simple, or that stuff really won't work on real kids. But as I started trying it, I was astounded at just the impact it made. So, as I share, if you find yourself rolling your eyes, that may be the very first place for you to start impacting. So, an overview of the series. We're not going to do all these in this video right now, but as we go forward in some of these clips that you'll find all of these topics covered. One thing we're going to think about is our hopes and dreams as parents, the realities of being a parent, the tough part of parenting, which is the kids' behavior. It's not whether or not we love them or want them. It's what do we do when they act up. We're also going to cover just what is positive parenting. You may have heard other things lately like attachment parenting, connection parenting. You may have heard approaches from Dr. Spock or even Dr. Phil. We're going to talk about what this particular approach is and actually how they're all kind of similar anyway. And we're also going to get into 5 principles of positive parenting. So let's get started. Can you think about what came to mind when you found out you were going to be a parent? Were you excited? Were you scared? Were you nervous? Did you have all these images of what it would be like being pregnant or coming home from the hospital, or what things would be like in the next few months or even years or first day of school? But the reality is things can be really different. So we all set off with this idea of, I want to raise good kids. I want them to use their words and to talk. I want them to get along with others. I don't want calls from the daycare or the school or my friends saying, hey, your kids are really giving us a fit right now. We want kids who actually try and who do their best and who don't sit there on the sidelines and give up and think, I can't do that. We want kids who can share their emotions and who can be real. And we want kids who feel good about themselves. We also don't put this into words because it seems a little formal and a little textbooky, but we want them to be safe and secure, and we don't want things to be too chaotic. Whether it's in our own adult relationships or in our interactions with them, we want our homes to be peaceful, happy places, respites from the crazy world around us. Now, I want you to think about some of those hopes and dreams for a minute. How many of those things actually happened in reality? And how many of those things went pretty different from how you started out? You're not alone on that one. So being a parent, we all know, has its challenges. It's rewarding, it's enjoyable, it's demanding, it's frustrating and exhausting. When you turn on your Facebook newsfeed and you see all these fun pictures of kids who are licking ice cream cones, or they're getting an award at the end of the school year, those things bring a smile to our faces. And then sometimes we think, gee, when I come home, my child's not running to greet me. My child's in the middle of a mess and they're sitting in flour in the middle of the kitchen that I get to clean up. Parenting has all of these things, and sometimes it's funny when we see it happening to somebody else other than us. It's a lot easier to deal with that mess when it's a picture and not greeting you. One thing about parenting, and this goes with all of life, we all learn through trial and error. I remember learning to write. I wanted to have really neat handwriting, and it still takes some effort some days to get that. But you look at how they're writing in cursive or all that, and then I thought, oh, this is going to be great. And then I sat there and I had to practice and try and learn those skills with my fingers and strengthening those muscles so I could grip the pencil just right and I could write those letters. It took a lot of practice. And the same thing goes with parenting. We don't learn anything and just hop up on a bike and learn how to write it. We have to fall on and off and keep getting back on when we feel like we're not doing it right and we're never, ever going to get it. If we were to change parenting, instead of being something that we come to expect as a natural, and we were to view this as a job, this might be something you would find. One couple to raise a child, no experience necessary, must be available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Provide food, shelter, clothing, and supervision without training, without pay. Oh, and you're going to need to pay about $180,000 over the next 18 years. You can maybe be an accident when you apply, maybe not know exactly what you're signing up for. You can do this by yourself, but be prepared for twice the work. If we were to think about parenting in terms of that, it sounds like a lot of work. And while we realize parenting's work, sometimes that leaves us a little bit and we think this is supposed to be fun, this is supposed to be easy. If everybody does it, why is it so hard? So just what are some of those fears that you have? Is it of your child being taken? Is it of them being hurt? Is it of you doing a bad job? Is it of them not loving you? There are so many fears that we have out there. Think for a second about what some of your fears are. Have you always had them? Or have they come along as you've progressed and your child's grown up? So in spite of all the hard things, there's a lot of good news out there. Most parents are actually pretty confident about the job that they're doing. About 77%, 3/4, that's awesome. More than that, actually find parenting rewarding. 86% is huge. If your doctor gave you those kinds of odds, you would be like, sign me up for that. 89%, see, we're getting even closer to that 100 mark, find parenting fulfilling. But even in the midst of that good news, it doesn't mean that there aren't some situations that make you want to scratch your head just a little bit. So if that's the case, we're going to stop the screen share, I think. Yay, now we're back together. And we're going to keep joining in together for some seminars with additional tips that will help you. I can't wait to have you come back. Talk to you soon.